Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Nadia Rajput from DESI TV USA. Let's have a look at the headlines. Trump says UK-China trade very dangerous as Starmer quotes Beijing. Trump says Putin agreed to pause attack on Kyiv during cold snap. Denmark's foreign minister said Thursday he was more optimistic after technical talks kicked off with the United States over Greenland. Global problems will not be solved by one power calling the shots, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on Thursday. Texas education leaders consider making stories from the Bible required reading in public schools. Let's look into details. Trump says UK-China trade very dangerous as Starmer quote Beijing. US President Donald Trump warned Britain against getting into business with Beijing as Prime Minister Keir Starmer lauded the economic benefits of resetting relations with China during a visit there on Friday. As Western leaders reel from Trump's unpredictability, Starmer is the latest to head to China. In 3-hour talks with President Xi Jinping on Thursday, the Britain leaders called for a more sophisticated relationship with improved market access, lower tariffs and investment deals, which also discussing Chaucer and Shakespeare. In Washington, however, replying to questions about the closer ties, Trump said, well, it's very dangerous for them to do that. He was speaking to reporters ahead of the premiere of the Melania film at the Kennedy Center. Trump says Putin agreed to pause attacks on Kyiv during cold snap. United States President Donald Trump said on Thursday that Russian President Vladimir Putin had agreed to halt attacks on Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities for a week during an extreme cold snap after strikes damaged power infrastructure and left civilians without heating. They have never experienced cold like that, and I personally asked President Putin not to fire into Kyiv and the various towns for a week, and he agreed to do that, Trump told a cabinet meeting at the White House. Trump said Russian missile and drone attacks had worsened humanitarian conditions as freezing temperatures spread across Ukraine. On top of everything else, that's not what they need. Missile coming into their towns and cities, he said. There was no immediate comment from the Kremlin. Trump said he trusted Putin to honor the commitment despite skepticism from others. Denmark's foreign minister said Thursday he was more optimistic after technical talks kicked off with the United States over Greenland. We have had the very first meeting at senior official level in Washington yesterday regarding the Greenlandic issue, Lars Locke Rasmussen told journalists at an EU meeting in Brussels. It went well in a very constructive atmosphere and tone, and new meetings are planned. It's not that things are solved, but it's good. The trilateral talks come after US President Donald Trump last week backed down from his threats to seize the autonomous Arctic territory of EU and NATO member Denmark. There was a major detour. Things were escalating, but now we are back on track. Rasmussen said, I am slightly more optimistic today than a week ago. Meanwhile, the Danish Royal House also announced Thursday that King Frederick X would travel to Greenland on February 18 to show his concerns for the island's inhabitants.
Now I am American. I have citizen.
I still have my Salvadorian passport and now I have my USA passport. I am a citizen of the US.
Khi cầm cái hộ chiếu Mỹ, cô rất là tự hào mình là công dân Mỹ.
La ciudadanía para mí significa oportunidades.
Si ya tienen el tiempo que pueden hacerse ciudadanas, que lo hagan.
No pierde nada uno con intentarlo.
Como dicen en México, echándole ganas, todo se puede.
Global problems will not be solved by one power calling the shots, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on Thursday, warning that international law was being trampled and global cooperation was eroding. While Guterres didn't name any specific country, his remarks come a week after United States President Donald Trump launched his Board of Peace, initially aimed at cementing a fragile Gaza ceasefire, but which Trump has said could take on a broader role, an approach that has raised concern among some global powers. Global powers will not be solved by one power calling the shots, nor will they be solved by two powers carving the world into rival spheres of influence, Guterres told a new conference marking the start of his 10th and final year in office. And here we include news from Houston, Texas. Texas education leaders consider making stories from the Bible require reading in public schools. The Texas State Board of Education is considering a new school reading list that includes more than 300 books, ranging from classic literature such as To Kill a Mockingbird to selected stories from the King James Version of the Bible. A vote on the proposed list has been delayed following a heated board meeting where teachers, parents, and community members expressed both support and opposition. Some speakers argued the list lacks diversity, noting the absence of Hispanic authors at certain grade levels, while others supported the inclusion of religious and classic texts. Under the proposal, students from 7th grade onward would be required to read biblical stories including Jonah and the Whale and the Tower of Babel and David and Goliath. The list covers grade K-12. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has previously stated that schools are allowed to include religious content in lessons and has encouraged districts to incorporate prayers and scripture. Education experts say the delay indicates concerns about religious content and how well the list represents Texas students. State law requires schools to adopt the final approved reading list by the 2030 school year. That's all for now. Keep watching DESI TV USA. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. And don't forget to watch our channels DTV NN and DESI Urdu TV.
Now I am American. I have citizen.
I still have my Salvadorian passport, and now I have my USA passport. I am a citizen of the US.
Khi cầm cái hộ chiếu Mỹ, con rất là tự hào mình là công dân Mỹ.
La ciudadanía para mí significa oportunidades.
Si ya tienen el tiempo que pueden hacerse ciudadanas, que lo hagan.
No pierde nada uno con intentarlo.
Como dicen en México, echándole ganas, todo se puede.
Neurological care is a pressing healthcare challenge in Pakistan. That's why Helping Hand USA is building Kind R, a world-class hospital with 130-plus clinics that is set to establish new standards for neurological care in Pakistan. As the first phase nears completion, anticipation is growing for the launch in the second half of 2025. Give zakat and sadaqah through Helping Hand USA today and join this historic endeavor to redefine future healthcare in Pakistan.